Just before today's video starts, I would just like to remind all of you that it is not made for kids. It's for adults to enjoy too. So with that said, please enjoy the fucking video. It's finally time to do it. Hello everyone, this is Liam Fitzgerald back again, and welcome to a very special video. What's special about it, you may ask? Well, I'll gladly tell you. But before I do, I want to ask you guys something. Do you guys remember that update video I did at the start of this year? No? Well, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. But for those who do remember it, you'll know that I mentioned I was going to do something that I've wanted to do for some time, but just didn't have the confidence to. And what was that thing? Well, here's a little clip to remind you of what that was. But going back to my Bob the Builder reviews, I've got a special announcement that I'm finally able to share with you all. This year, I'm going to be doing my first film review. That's right, I'm finally going to do a film review this year for the very first time. Yep, that's right. Today, I'm going to do my very first movie review. I've always enjoyed watching film reviews on YouTube as they give me a clear understanding of why certain films are considered to be cinematic masterpieces, box office bombs, or just simply average films, as I sometimes struggle to express my love or hatred towards certain films. Examples of YouTubers that create great film reviews include The Unlucky Tug, Usual Bloke Luke, and Thomas 1 Edward 2 Henry Free. I would highly recommend watching these users if you're looking for a good example of how to review a film. And just to quickly state, I won't be reviewing the Thomas and Friends movies because loads of people have already done reviews regarding them, so please keep that in mind. But anyway, I'm sure you're all curious to know what my first film review is going to be. Well, as I once again said in my update video, the film that I will be tackling today is none other than Bob the Builder Snowed Under, the Bobblesburg Winter Games. Bob the Builder Snowed Under the Bobblesburg Winter Games is the third film of the franchise, which was first released on DVD on the 8th of November 2004. And since its release, people are somewhat torn between loving it and criticizing it. And looking back on certain opinions, I can certainly understand the problems people have towards this film. Some not so bad and some worse than others. But we'll come back to this later. My first exposure to Snowed Under was in 2007 or 2008, I can't remember, when I was on holiday with my family. My mum and I went out shopping in the town and we went into a DVD shop called Director's Cut, went out of business years ago, and I came across this film sitting on one of the shelves. My mum knew how much I love Bob the Builder, so she bought me this DVD as a present for doing well in school. When we got back to the hotel, I turned on my PlayStation 2 and watched this film all the way through, and while I truly enjoyed it, it also made me cry. Yes, I'm not ashamed to admit that this film made me shed tears. But, looking back at this film nowadays, it truly begs the question, is it really a bad film? Well, let's find out. This is my review of Bob the Builder Snowed Under, the Bobblesburg Winter Games. Let's dive into... Do I really feel ready to do this? This is something I've always wanted to do, but at the same time, I still don't feel confident to go ahead and do it by myself. I wish I had someone to help me. Huh?
Hi, Liam.
Hi, Madison. This is a very unexpected call from you.
Yeah, I thought I'd give you a call on what you were doing.
Well, I'm just about to do my very first film review, but I don't feel confident to do it by myself.
Oh, I see. Do you want some help?
Oh, yes, please. I'd love to have you help me with this.
Okay, but that begs the question. What film will you be reviewing?
Bob the Builder Snowed Under?
Oh, sure. I can help you review this Bob the Builder film.
Great! Wait a minute. Didn't you already review this film on your channel? Check it out. Link will be in the description.
Yes, I did, but my review came out over a year ago. And I rewatched the movie not too long ago, and my thoughts might have changed since then. And since this is your first time reviewing a movie, I'm more than welcome to help you.
Oh, I see. Well, I'd be more than happy to have you join me for this review, since you are a big Bob the Builder fan like I am.
Of course! And since we know each other well enough, I thought we could join together and do a collab review on the most divisive Bob the Builder film.
Great! So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and enjoy my first film review of Bob the Builder Snowed Under with my good friend HeartCloud Productions.
Let's dive right into the review!
Hey, that's my line. This is certainly going to be interesting, folks. The film opens up with Scoop skiing down a mountain while running out of control, but it's revealed to be a nightmare he's having. Scoop explains to Pilchard about the big project they have at Bobblesburg and is anxious about both being team leader and letting Bob down. Once the team boards the ship to Bobblesburg, Spud and Pilchard stow away with them. When the team arrive at Bobblesburg, they meet up with Wendy, who's participating in the Winter Games, and we are introduced to Jana van Strudel and Zoomer the snowmobile. Bob tells Scoop that he'll ride on Zoomer for the time being, which causes his anxiety to increase.
Bob and Spud settle into their hotel room by Charlene, to which the Scarecrow finds it very fun. Zoomer tells the machines about other machines coming to help build the games, making Scoop doubt himself. Later that night, Bob reassures Scoop to not worry about the big task that'll take place in the morning. The next morning, Jana informed the machines about the bad news that the special machines got stuck in a snowstorm and couldn't make it to build the courses. Scoop is devastated to the point that his team leader position might be taken away from him. Luckily, a small machine by the name of Benny survived the storm and made it safely to Bobblesburg. Scoop thought if Benny could show them what to do, they could finish the courses and log cabin on time. Jana wholeheartedly agreed to the plan.
Benny and Scoop begin working together and they form a close friendship, with Benny calling Scoop Big Banana.
Hey, you're the same colour as a banana!
Yeah, a very big banana!
That's what I'm going to call you! Big Banana!
Cool!
It's at this point of the film where Scoop's bossy side begins to slip in while working on the ski slopes, and is first shown when Rolly accidentally rolls over one of the moguls and Scoop angrily calls him a big clumsy lump. Ugh, yeah, a great moment here. Anyway, Rolly and Dizzy leave the job due to Scoop's aggressive behaviour, and while Dizzy figure skates with some children, Rolly heads off to find Jana, hoping to learn how to yodel. Mock, on the other hand, wanted to help out with the job, but Scoop wasn't going to let him take his position as team leader. So he purposely tells Mock to go and help Bob with the log cabin, while Benny begins to wonder why Scoop is being so bossy. Construction on the log cabin goes very well, but Muck accidentally goes snowboarding in the snow when he slips on a board of wood. When he eventually meets up with Scoop and Benny, Scoop scolds Muck for making him look silly in front of Bob when he didn't. Scoop, what is happening to you? Eventually, Muck and Benny finish the bobsleigh track very quickly and begin to move on to the ski jump, but they unfortunately had to wait for Scoop. Bob and Wendy discuss how the machines got so much work done during the day, while Spud helps Charlene deliver the food over to Wendy as her assistant waiter.
All the machines made it back to the shed to get some rest. As the machines share what they did that day, Scoop intervenes rudely as they aren't on holiday. The machines retort back that Scoop wouldn't let them do work, while also pointing out that they could do different things. Scoop and Muck argue with each other that they cut all ties with working with each other. The other machines try to comfort Muck, while Scoop talks to Pilcher that he'll finish the courses by himself without his friends. With the other machines going on with their activities, Benny tells Scoop that he's doing everything wrong with the ice rink. When he retorts that he's supposed to be the more experienced one, Benny had enough of his bossy behavior and decided to leave him alone, while Pilchard soon did the same thing when she was correcting Scoop. With 2 hours left, Scoop managed to put the ice rink together and had to clean out the ice with the Zamboni. But the machine went out of control, jolting Scoop to make cracks in the ice while destroying the walls.
Help!
Scoop cried to Pilchard that all of what he did was his fault, and he needs to make things right with his friends. God damn it! Not right now! Anyway, with the help of Pilchard, Scoop gathered his machine friends together to finish the ice rink on time for the Winter Games to begin the next day. Wendy did very well in the ski speed run, while Bob had a talk with Scoop on how proud he is of him. Meanwhile, Spud was told by Charlene to shout out to anyone who wants any foods or drinks. But the Scarecrow stumbled onto the ski jump and unexpectedly performed a very nice landing. Due to the sudden success of Spud's ski jump, Scoop naps during it all and dreams about him and his machine friends winning the Dream Machine Games together, bringing the film to a positive finish.
I'm proud to be a part of the best team in the world. Can we fix it?
Yes, we can!
Wow. Where do we even begin with this film? Bob the Builder Snowed Under is honestly a great film in my opinion. I can understand certain critiques people have towards it, and we will definitely mention them as Madison and I discuss our thoughts on this film. Just like I did with that review, we're going to leave the elephant in the room till later, but it won't be as intense as that one.
What Liam means is that we'll be running into a similar conflict when discussing the film. It's just that we have more conflicting feelings than straight up anger this time around. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But for right now, let's discuss the new characters that were introduced in the film.
The first new character we will discuss is Benny, as he had the most screen time compared to the others. You're all gonna find this hard to believe, but this film wasn't the first time I saw Benny. Yeah, I'm not kidding. My first exposure to this young digger was in both the episode Benny's Back and a DVD promo for Project Build It. I had no idea who he was until I saw that episode, and I strangely believed that he was Scoop's younger brother.
Seriously?
Yeah, my thought process was weird growing up. Anyway, my first opinions on Benny were as positive as I love seeing his young playful side with characters such as Scoop and Muck. But what did I think of him in Snowed Under? I truly loved his introduction here. While he's an eager, hard-working digger who wants to work, he's also quite mature for a young machine like him, as he knows when to call someone out for their negative behaviour. But I also love his brotherly friendship with Scoop. Seriously, these two act like brothers towards each other. They laugh, they argue, but they truly care for each other, as we see in a majority of scenes. Even after this film came out and when they brought Benny back for Project Build It, they still played around with their friendship, which I truly enjoyed watching.
I adore Benny in this film because he's like one of those young characters who is very hardworking and also being very likable. The way Benny gives Scoop the nickname of Big Banana was really wholesome because of how the two are very similar to each other in appearance. Emma Tate did a fantastic job as Benny for how she really knows how to make him sound young but very enthusiastic. Even at times, she did a good job at portraying the times where Benny gets annoyed or angry in the movie.
Oh, that's why nobody wants to work with you. If you want to do it all by yourself, then that's fine by me.
Fine.
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 It showcases that Benny is not naive and knows when to put his foot, or should I say, put his front digger down when something goes wrong. Like Liam said, he is quite smart for a young machine.
Now let's move on to the next new character, which is of course Zoomer. Yeah, it's kinda hard when it's the same model but a different color. Honestly, Zoomer is an alright character, but he's not as discussion worthy as Benny is. While yes, he's fast, confident and quite playful, like Sonic, he's mostly shown to be Bob's get-around vehicle in the snow than being an actual character. And while they did bring him back in Project Builder and gave him one leading episode, it's still quite underwhelming to say anything about his character. Now, I'm not saying he was pointless, but again, he barely had anything to do with the plot, so I've got nothing much to say about him other than he zooms around a lot, and the fact that he's a recolor of Scoot.
I don't have that much to add revolving around Zoomer because he's just not that interesting enough to make an impact in the film. He's just there. Yeah, I got nothing much else to add from what Liam already said.
Next up, we have Yana, and while she's not present much in the plot, I have to say she's quite a unique character. First off, she has a great talent for yodeling, as we hear her quite a lot in this film, especially the bit where she teaches Rolly how to yodel. She even appears in Scoop's dream at the end of the film and yodels the Bob the Builder theme song, which is really impressive to say the least. Take a listen. Her voice actress gave her such a unique accent that it's actually quite cute to hear. But overall, Yana's quite an interesting new side character, and yeah, I got nothing more to add. Sometimes it's hard to talk about minor characters.
I don't have that much to add about Yana either, but the humor with her was pretty funny. How the goat Eli drives her crazy and likes to yodel with her. Those moments were pretty funny when she tried to tell the goat to get off her back whenever she's minding her own business. Yana also teaching Rolly how to yodel brings me so much life that I'll save that for later down in the review. Overall, Yana is an alright side character that didn't do much in the plot.
And last but not least, we have probably one of the funniest side characters I've ever seen. And that's Charlene. While yes, she doesn't appear much in the film, when she does appear, I have so much trouble controlling my laughter. Her Australian accent fits her perfectly, as literally all her on-screen appearances show her wearing Australian clothes. Maybe she knows the Wiggles. But other than that, her personality is positive and comedic and was used as a way to brighten up the mood of the film, especially her friendship with Spud. But I'll let Madison cover that.
Spud's friendship with Charlene are the juicy bits of this film's humor. The way she lets him be her waiter's assistant was pretty funny when he goes to deliver Wendy's food. She even encouraged Spud to go around to people for food and drinks, until he stumbled across the ski jump. Charlene didn't mean for Spud to do that, but she amusingly let it happen. Oh, and at the end of the credits of the film, the last photo was shown and it was shaped into a heart. It's not what it looks like, I swear! So yeah, even if she didn't add anything to the plot either, she did provide great comedy along with our favorite Scarecrow.
So yeah, while not all the new characters had a purpose in the plot, they all added something to the film and still made it worth watching, especially Benny and Charlene. But overall, the new characters were really interesting. Now let's move on to talking about the music. Oh my goodness, the music in this movie slaps! Paul K. Joyce truly outdid himself here, and I mean really outdid himself.
I certainly agree with that.
Joyce truly knew how to use the music within the different emotions or scenarios shown or expressed within the plot. I never tire of listening to this orchestral music. It is so catchy. Madison, why don't you start us off here?
Something I overlooked in my review of this film is that I never bothered to give the music a mention because of how each background music matches the tone within the scenes. For example, the talk Bob has with Scoop on their first night at Bobblesburg. It has a soft but reassuring mood to it that it fits the scene very nicely.
Timon, are you crying? I'm fine. I just have something in my eye. Here, blow. Here, Pumba. Gee, thanks. Okay, I'm better.
It was short but sweet, and it is one of the excellent examples of how the film represents its music perfectly. So Liam, care to share another example?
Oh, I have a great example to share. While I agree with Madison that the music matches the tone of certain scenes, it's also used to express the different emotions the characters are feeling. A great example I can give is Muck and Scoop's fight. Oh boy. I'll save my real thoughts on this scene when we eventually get to it, but Jesus! The music is at its peak here. Notice how the tone gets more intense with every combat between these two. It gets to a point where it concludes with a very sharp boom, and then it turns into silence to give the viewers a chance to recover from what just happened. In fact, let me play the music over the scene so you can understand what I'm talking about. See what I mean? This scene still gives me goosebumps.
I feel the same, but at the same time I would be like, damn, that escalated quickly. Anyways, the music in this film really does capture the emotion really well, when it is lighthearted fun or is very dramatic. Now let's go over the moments me and Liam thought that are worth mentioning.
While I did say at the beginning of the review that people have certain problems with Snowed Under, considering we'll get into those shortly, it truly does have its fair share of great moments. One of my top favourite moments in this film is the different scenarios where Scoop expresses his worries to Pilchard. Scoop and Pilchard have such a close friendship in this franchise. I swear they are truly close. They even have an episode together, which I highly recommend watching. But I think this film handles their friendship so well. And while yes, I can agree that Scoop was a little harsh towards her near the end, she never gave up on him and came back to comfort him when he was upset. God damn it, this is so hard to keep in!
We'll get there, Liam. And we'll pull through that scene together.
You're right, Madison. Let's carry on. Some quick honorable mentions of other scenes I enjoyed include Scoop and Brenny's brother friendship, Spud's hijinks with Charlene, and the team getting back together again. These are all good examples of great moments. How about you, Madison? What are your favourite moments?
I'm glad you asked, Liam. The moments that Liam mentioned are great examples, but I have other favorite moments that do deserve a mention. One of my top favorite moments comes from everyone's favorite road roller, Rolly.
Why am I not surprised, considering how much you love talking about Rolly in your videos?
Says the one who loves talking about Scoop in your videos constantly.
Touché, my friend. Please proceed.
Thank you. Despite not being the main focus of this film, I really adore Rolly's little subplot of learning how to yodel. At the beginning, it was very hard, but when he gets help from Yana in the mountains, he has a blast shouting his loud voice while making it sound good at the same time.
Ah, my little Rolly, he is putting the O into yodel.
I didn't say anything.
Everything about Rolly's involvement to give him a little subplot that revolved around his love for singing always makes me all warm inside. Other moments that I personally enjoyed throughout the movie, where Mug uses a piece of wood to go snowboarding, Spud chasing Pilchard on the boat, the ending where Bob told Scoop how proud he is of him. Even though Scoop and Mug's fight was hard to watch, I do appreciate how it is handled in a way where it makes the film more dramatic and adds stakes to the conflict, and having payoff at the end when the team reconcile with each other. Sometimes I can enjoy moments where it is not so positive, but it represents how the film is doing something different to stick out from the other films of the franchise.
That's a great observation, Madison. I truly agree. So overall, this film does have its good moments, and they certainly make the film pretty enjoyable. But of course, every film has its drawbacks, and it's time for us to cover the biggest drawback of this film.
Yep. You know who we are referring to.
Yep. No surprise to you all that we are referring to the lead character of this film, Scoop. I think I've made it perfectly clear in previous reviews that Scoop is my favorite character of this franchise. But even my favorite character has its drawbacks.
Exactly. Scoop is... how should I put it? He's complicated in this film. Scoop is not bad in this film, but a lot of what he does bothers me and Liam so much that it'll be hard not to ignore.
I can agree with that. Scoop was quite rocky in this film that even I found it annoying to sift through. So, to show you what we mean, we're going to look at Scoop's character within this film and discuss why we think Scoop's character was very flawed in Snowed Under. So while I fully believe that the opening dream is ridiculous, it hints Scoop's biggest fear is letting Bob down, as we somewhat see, I guess? Then we truly begin this film by seeing Scoop very anxious about travelling to Bobblesburg and being the team leader for the building project. Now, I like that we see Scoop's anxious side here, as it shows that even confident characters can have their worries too. I truly sympathise with him, as I've been put in that position before, and it is not a positive feeling to have, I can tell you. When the team eventually get to the ferry, we start to see Scoop with a more boastful side to him as he tries to be a good team leader, but is instead a joke for Muck and Dizzy as they start mimicking him.
I think I would know if there was a cat in my...
I told you to keep the noise down.
Aye, Captain.
Muck, you little scamp. Anyway, that boastful side of Scoop is still relatively strong when the team arrive at Bobblesburg. But I don't truly mind seeing Scoop boast, as we've seen him do it before in certain episodes. But when Bob tells Scoop he'll be using Sumer as his get-around vehicle, you can instantly tell that he is so disappointed. I mean, Bob does usually travel on Scoop. But I do like when Muck gives him confidence about being team leader, which truly shows that Muck and Scoop always have each other's back.
When Scoop finds out from Zoomer that they'll be working with other special machines, This doubts him that he needed Bob's reassurance. I like this moment between the two. It showcases how Scoop can feel unsure of himself that he and the team could take on the bigger task of building the courses the next morning. Such a soothing moment. But when the bad news was heard from Yana that the special machines were stuck in the snowstorm, it crushed Scoop's opportunity as a team leader. God damn it! Seeing Scoop in tears gets me every time. How his team leader position might be taken away from him. But with Benny arriving safely, it boosts Scoop's hopes up again that the games can be completed in time. Scoop immediately bonds with Benny as the two start putting the courses together. Benny called him Big Banana, don't let it be out of context, and Scoop calling Benny Banana Skin.
Yeah, a very big banana.
That's what I'm going to call you. Big Banana!
Cool. Well, let's begin. Banana skin.
Oh, brothers. Scoop seems to be leaning on the right path for this film so far. He was relatable for feeling anxious at first, but is willing to take on the challenging task of building the courses once Benny arrives. But it unfortunately goes downhill from here. Oh joy. Once Muck, Dizzy, and Rolly went to go help with Scoop and Benny, the Yellow Digger starts getting annoyed with them, disrupting the work with their shenanigans.
Scoop is becoming Squidward while the others are acting like SpongeBob and Patrick.
Too accurate. When Rolly is trying to yodel, he ran over a mogul bump and... Scoop calls him a big clumsy
Hold it! Hold it!
You already rage quit in your review of this film. Not in this one. Go calm down.
Fine. I'm not wasting my energy on that disgusting excuse of a scene again.
Terribly sorry about that, folks. I'll handle this scene more sensibly while my friend takes a breather. Now, I can fully understand Madison's frustrations with this scene, as I truly didn't like it either. Scoop just straight up insulted one of his best friends for doing something by complete accident. Something that he's never done before in the show. I mean, yes, Rolly can be quite clumsy at times, but he doesn't mean any harm when he does something wrong. This is where Scoop's character begins to crumble. And I mean really crumble.
I might as well add the fact that the scene itself isn't what pissed me off. Not just because it happened right out of nowhere, but there was no payoff at the very end where Scoop went to go and round the team back together. It was implied that Rolly forgave Scoop, but they never show him apologizing to Rolly for what he said to him. So what was the point of Scoop insulting Rolly then? I hate it when certain moments that could be impactful in their own ways just happen off screen. It is despicable that the film wanted to test the friendship between Scoop and Rolly, but didn't bother to give them a moment where it could leave an impact. Ugh!
You good there, Madison?
Yes, I'm good, Liam. How about you continue Scoop's rocky character development from here? That scene took a lot out of me.
Okay then. So, after Scoop shoos Rolly and Dizzy away, he tries to continue the job in peace, but begins to grow frustrated with Muck that he straight up lies to him about Bob needing his assistance when he truly just wants to be rid of him. Scoop, Scoop, Scoop. What are you doing? So after Muck snowboards down the mountain, Benny tries to bring Scoop down to earth, but fails as Scoop straight up scolds Muck for making him look silly in front of Bob when he didn't. And here's the thing. It's Scoop's own fault for sending Muck away in the first place, but of course he's too stubborn to admit it. Scoop is truly crumbling down now, and it only gets worse from here. That evening, as the team are resting for the night, they start discussing the day's events. But Scoop straight up shouts at them for no reason. And this is where I start to get so irritated. Scoop is said to be angry because he thinks the team is slacking off and not paying attention to the job, when it's clear as day that he's driving them away with his toxic behavior. Even Benny can see that.
But wait, it gets worse!
Scoop and Muck begin to have an aggressive argument about who's in the wrong, and Scoop straight up hurts Muck's feelings, which creates a nasty split among the Can-Do crew.
You're just a show-off, Muck. You couldn't wait to come back here and boast. You don't want to be part of a team.
Well, if that's what you think, you won't be wanting my help tomorrow then.
You've got it.
Fine by me.
This scene is torture to sift through. Muck did not deserve that in the slightest. The poor dumb truck. I think I need a breather now. Madison, can you take over for a bit?
Of course, Liam. Now that I am calm and collected again, I shall continue. Scoop had the brilliant idea to go and work on the ice rink by himself when he told Pilchard that he won't need the others' help. Scoop's ego gets even worse when Benny tells him that he can't do everything by himself. Scoop calls him an annoying know-it-all, like he is being defensive of himself, despite Benny being in the right. Clearly fed up, I don't blame Benny for leaving this jerk alone. My God, he even does the same thing again towards Pilchard. When she is telling him what he did wrong, Scoop gets so defensive that he drove her away from him. Seriously, Scoop, what is wrong with you?
And you need to stop being such a know-it-all and telling me what to do all the time. I'm older than you are, you know. Excuse me, but you're a cat and I'm a building machine. I don't tell you how to catch mice, so don't tell me how to build.
Shut up!
Thank you, Knuckles! Anyways, with Scoop being so confident that he could finish the ice rink by himself, he then started to use the Zamboni to clear the ice. Things didn't go as well as to plan, as the Zamboni went out of control, causing the ice rink to fall apart. Letting this happen for Scoop was instant karma for him, being so full of himself throughout most of this film. After causing the ice rink to be destroyed, Scoop screams for help, and this is where me and Liam's feelings towards him changed. Oh God.
This isn't going to be easy. This is where our sympathy towards the Yellow Digger comes flooding back as we witness Scoop breaking into tears. This scene is so emotional to watch, and it's even what made me cry when I first saw this film, and it's still painful for me to watch today. It's at this point of the film that Scoop is brought back into reality, and he now understands how much of an asshole he's been to his friends, and is truly showing his regret as he sadly tells Pilchard that everything that has gone wrong is entirely his own fault. Look, I know Scoop's arrogant behaviour was painful to sift through, but just seeing him crying in shame is just so emotional to watch that you literally can't stay angry with him anymore.
Despite everything we said about Scoop being this arrogant prick throughout the film, we feel Scoop's regretful nature is when the scene itself clicks. Like what we mentioned with the music, this scene captures the aura of how Scoop feels regretful for his actions. And I gotta give so much credit to Rob Rackstraw for making him sound so choked up while delivering on Scoop's dialogue.
I should never have tried to do everything by myself. Dizzy was right. We're all good at different things. That's why we make a good team. Except we're not a team anymore, and that's my fault. I've been horrible to them.
It makes the moment impactful, in my opinion, when the music and acting makes it click.
Indeed it does, Madison. But you want to know something? This scene made me think of a scene from another film. And you want to know what that film is? The Great Discovery. That's right, this film. So you all know the scene where the Great Waterton Tower crashes to the ground, right? Well, when Sir Topham Hatt scolds Thomas for shunting too many trucks, notice how Thomas doesn't say a single word to explain himself. He straight up knows that he caused the whole accident, and even his friends are in disbelief at what he did. And when all his friends leave him on his own, you can instantly see that Thomas knows that he messed up so badly and now he thinks his friends probably don't like him anymore. And that's what Scoop displays in this scene. He pours his heart out, expressing that he's entirely at fault and has no one to blame but himself. This is where the film got serious.
Indeed, Liam. But we are almost done. Scoop wants to do the right thing before time runs out, so he decided to recruit his teammates and apologize to them. I like how he went to Dizzy first, because she was the one who tried to get him back down to earth. She never gave up on him, despite the fight causing Scoop to separate from the others. That is sweet. Scoop then tries to recruit Muck and Benny, but he doesn't accept his apology. I can understand that he was still mad at Scoop, but he was putting his heart out that he was sorry for everything. Even Dizzy thinks that Muck was too careless towards Scoop.
You're right, Muck. I understand.
Oh, Muck. Scoop's got you out of trouble before.
Was all hope lost that Muck and Benny won't help? Scoop sadly gives up and is about to go to Bob and tell him everything. But when Muck and Benny come to the rescue, everyone has forgiven Scoop. I'm honestly glad that Scoop did the right thing to apologize to his crewmates. It really goes to show that the Can-Do crew are such a unit that no matter how bad a situation gets, they pull through together. They aren't perfect, but any relationship isn't supposed to be perfect, and I like how this film portrays that with the Can-Do crew. Care to finish, Liam?
Certainly. Coming to the end of the film, we get a great moment where Bob expresses how proud he is of Scoop for his hard work and bravely admitting to his mistakes in the process. This moment is wonderful. The way Bob talks to Scoop is like a father telling his son how proud he is of him for achieving his goal. And you can tell in Neil Marcy's voice that Bob truly is proud.
And I'm really
Yes?
proud of you.
You are?
You've worked very hard, Scoop.
Well, thanks, Bob.
It takes a lot of guts to admit your mistakes and put things right. I think you've learnt a big lesson.
Yes, Bob. I have.
Scoop and Bob are truly close, as we see in loads of episodes. But I think this moment truly shows how much they care for each other. And I love it. Scoop truly deserved all that praise, as he truly did work hard to redeem himself, and the ending dream sequence truly shows that. So overall, Scoop's leading role in Snowed Under is rocky, but it does redeem towards the end.
When we describe Scoops' character throughout the film, it is like a roller coaster. It has its high and low moments that makes the experience very rocky. That is why we don't hate Scoop in this film, because it tried to take the character and make it more dramatic when it comes to the moments. We appreciate what it tries to do, but it doesn't mean that we can't call out Scoop's horrendous behavior.
I couldn't agree more. So in conclusion, do we think Bob the Builder Snowed Under the Bobblesburg Winter Games is a bad film? No, we don't. Despite the critiques we have towards it, I think Snowed Under is a really good film. The story is truly entertaining, the new characters are great, one in particular, the music captures the emotions perfectly, loads of comedic moments, and while our lead character had a rocky development, he was still a positive lead for this film. Wouldn't you agree, Madison?
I can totally agree on that one, Liam. Although this film is still a memorable but messy experience overall in my opinion, it is not worth being hated for what it tries to do to stick out from the previous Bob the Builder films. Sometimes it is worth taking the flaws from a piece of media that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it wouldn't be a good time if it is way too flawed. I like shows that are good, but I do like shows that are extremely flawed as well. Even after reviewing this film a year later, I still like Snowed Under.
I couldn't agree more. So with that said, I'm officially going to give Bob the Builder's Snowed Under the Bobblesburg Winter Games a B-. A good film, but quite flawed.
In terms of how my feelings towards this film might have changed over time or not, I still enjoyed Snowed Under. I also give this film a B-. Now, you might all think that this review of Snowed Under is over, but we aren't done yet. This is the part of the review that we are really excited to talk about. Take it away, Liam!
So we spent a good chunk of this review talking about the biggest problem people have with this film. And while we both clearly understand the frustrations people have towards it, we'd like to do something to make this film more true to Scoop's character. If you guys have watched this particular review of Calling All Engines by usual bloke Luke, which I highly recommend by the way, you'll know that he presented a rewrite to this film to make it more entertaining and not a complete snooze fest. And I truly believe that Snowed Under could be rewritten, but with a few tweaks here and there. And that's what me and Madison are going to do. We're going to rewrite Snowed Under. Now, keep in mind, we're going to try and not change too much of the entire film, as there are certain scenes that truly don't need to be changed or scrapped. We mostly want to direct our attention to Scoop's portrayal. We're also going to try and include the deleted scenes from the DVD, as most of them did feel suitable for this film. So without further ado, HeartCloud Productions and myself are proud to present to you Bob the Builder Snowed Under Rewritten. We hope you enjoy. Okay, so the film opens with not the original Nightmare, but instead the Builder Games. If you all remember that video I did last year regarding the opening sequence, you'll know that I said that the original opening doesn't make sense and doesn't do a good job of setting up Scoop's fear for the viewing audience. The Builder Games sequence, however, does a much better job of setting it up, as we clearly see Scoop sweating in fear. After this sequence, the film continues as it originally does, with Scoop expressing his worries to Pilchard, but this time we actually see her stopping Bob's alarm going off, based on another deleted scene. As Bob's getting dressed, Scoop decides to have a team meeting with the Can-Do crew, but struggles to stay positive as Muck and Dizzy begin teasing him about being their boss. Scoop's nightmare begins to haunt him, but doesn't want to tell his friends about it because he's afraid of looking silly in front of them. This honestly would be something Scoop would do, as he takes his work seriously and doesn't want to look foolish in front of his friends, as we've previously seen in Season 3.
The film continues like normal after the team meeting from there up until the point where Yana reveals the bad news that the special machines will not make it to Bobblesburg. This devastates Scoop and he has a talk with Pilchard about it. Instead of wondering about the special machines, his nightmare comes back again to haunt him. He immediately thought of an idea and told Yana that he and the team will build the courses. Rolly jumps into the discussion by saying that they have no idea how to build winter courses. Muck also asks Scoop if he is alright, but the Yellow Digger says that he is fine. He just doesn't want his friends to know about his nightmare. After Benny's introduction, the film carries on like normal until Muck, Dizzy, and Rolly find Scoop and Benny making moguls. When Muck throws a lump of snow onto Scoop, his inner self gets frustrated by the sudden action. But on the outside, he takes a deep breath and brushes it off by saying, "Really funny, Muck." It displays how we are making Scoop do a 180 by getting frustrated at his crewmates when they are just having fun. Just like in the film, Rolly still accidentally rolls over the mogul. But instead of snapping at him, he tries to remain calm despite what happened. Rolly worriedly says sorry to Scoop as he didn't see the mogul there. Scoop's inner self gets more angry due to what Rolly did. But he takes another deep breath and says to him, "It's okay, Rolly. Just please be careful where you are going." After that part happens, Scoop continues to get frustrated from all the noise, and he calmly tells them to have fun somewhere else, while he carries on working on his own with Benny.
As Rolly and Dizzy head away from the job, Dizzy mentions to Rolly how she's beginning to notice Scoop behaving quite strangely and wants to know why. Rolly responds that he noticed that too after he ran over the mogul. While he's relieved that Scoop didn't get angry with him, he starts to worry about his friend's strange attitude. Dizzy decides that it's best to leave Scoop be until he's ready to speak to them. The film continues as normal with Dizzy ice skating and Rolly going to find Yana to learn how to yodel. As Scoop and Benny complete the ski run, Muck returns wanting to know what to do next. And while we're going to keep the bit where Scoop lies to Muck, he's doing it out of fear and not in an arrogant way, as Scoop is still anxious due to his nightmare. This is where Benny begins to notice Scoop's anxious behaviour, and after he asks Scoop if he's alright, the Yellow Digger says he's fine with a forced smile, to which Benny doesn't believe. The sequence with Muck snowboarding remains here as it was used as a way to lighten the mood of the film. But when he slips past Benny and Scoop, the Yellow Digger quietly mumbles, "My nightmare is becoming more true." After Muck reunites with Benny and Scoop, he and Benny start to catch on more to Scoop's strange behaviour and asks him, "Why did you send me away?" To which Scoop replies rather rudely with, "Because I felt like it," and carries on working, with Benny and Muck getting more puzzled.
The film carries on like normal until we reach the fight scene. Now, the original scene of Scoop and Muck fighting is taken out altogether, and will present you all something different. The team discusses the day's events later that night in the sheds, as they are all talking. Dizzy notices that Scoop was being quiet and not joining in, and decides to find out what is going on with him. She asks Scoop what is wrong, and while he says that nothing is wrong while clearly not feeling fine, Rolly jumps in and asks why he is acting very strangely, and Scoop tries to brush it off by saying, "Strangely? That's nonsense, Rolly. Nothing's wrong." The gang then began to ask Scoop loads of questions as to why he's been acting the way he was, to the point where his peer pressure gets out of hand and shouts at them like, "I'm just scared, alright?" This silenced the others as Scoop pants by the aftershock of the yell before tears began forming in his eyes as he slowly broke down crying. Muck breaks the silence by saying, "What do you mean you're scared?" Scoop mumbles back with, "I'm scared of letting Bob down." The others are still confused as Benny asks why that is the case, and Scoop says that he feared that Bob wouldn't want him anymore. The others begin to understand what Scoop meant by what he said, but Lofty still doesn't quite get it, and he asks, "Why would you think that?" Scoop finally gave in and told the others about his nightmare. The others grew shocked at what they heard from Scoop. As Scoop continues to sob, Dizzy slowly rolls forward and says, "Scoop, why didn't you tell us about this? We would have understood." Scoop mumbles, "'Cause I thought you all would think I was silly." Muck rolls up and gives him a reassuring smile by saying, "Scoop, there is nothing wrong with being scared. We all get scared sometimes." Scoop says, "Really?" Muck says yes, and then recaps the time he got stuck in the tunnel because of his fear of the dark. And Lofty jumps in by recapping the time when he was too scared to tell Wendy why he was sad when he was scared of crossing the bridge, and Spud teasing him. After hearing both stories, Scoop slowly returns back to normal as he now realizes that he should have been more upfront with his friends about his fears to begin with. As the machines start to get tired, Muck reassures Scoop that everything will be fine if they all work together to finish building the courses. Scoop agrees, and they all back into their sheds. As the machines settled in the sheds falling asleep, Rolly peeks an eye to see Scoop is still a little upset, and whispers to Lofty that he'll sleep next to Scoop for the night. Scoop appreciates Rolly willing to sleep next to him as he clearly needs someone with him. Now that moment was intentional by me. As all the machines fell asleep, Bob watched the entire discussion, and he smiled warmly and said, "What would I do without them?"
Wow! This scene was not easy to rewrite. Anyway, the next day falls, and through a building montage, the team begin working together to complete the ice rink just in time for the Winter Games. By this point, the rewrite concludes as it does originally, with Wendy skiing, Bob exchanging his proudness towards Scoop, and the ending with Scoop's dream of the medal ceremony. But it doesn't end here. I would have the film conclude with everyone saying goodbye to Benny, thanking him for his help, and include a little moment between him and Scoop where they hope they'll meet each other again soon, bringing the film to a very positive conclusion. And that concludes our rewrite of Bob the Builder Snowed Under. A big reason why we decided to make Scoop have a lack of self-confidence is that we thought it would be interesting to see a character who's always positive and hardworking go through something they've never done before and worry about what might happen during the process while doubting themselves. It was also a better way of showing the importance of teamwork and the message of that you're never alone and your friends are always there to help you in difficult times. Which is a big life lesson we all need to take into consideration. You're never alone, and there are people all around that care. So please remember that. You're never alone. And with that, we have officially come to the end of this review of Bob the Builder Snowed Under. I truly didn't think I would be able to create a movie review, but I am so happy that I was able to. Before this video ends, I want to give a very big thank you to my friend HeartCloud Productions for joining me in this review. It was amazing to have her on board with me. Thank you so much for joining me, Madison.
It was a pleasure helping you review this Bob the Builder film. I really enjoyed doing this collaboration with you, and I hope that we could do some more of these in the future. If you want to check out my review of Snowed Under, Liam will link it in the description. With all that said, see you later, Liam!
See you later, Madison, and thanks again! I truly thank you all so much for watching my very first film review. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to me and HeartCloud Productions YouTube channels for more great videos to come. Also, comment down below your thoughts on this film and if you agree with everything we said about it. And also, please tell us if you liked our rewrite of the film and if you agree with it or if there was anything else we could have added. We'd love to hear back from you all. So, until my next review, I'm Neil Fitzgerald and I will see you again next time.